Today I'm going to show you how I start or make the Tunisian 10-stitch blanket. This is a good project for leftover yarns. I have this ball of cotton. It's just little ends and pieces that aren't long enough to make anything in particular. So what I do is I just tie them together end to end like that. At this point I'm not really worried about the little tails, because this is not going to be a project that I plan on selling. This one I plan on making for family, and therefore that's why I'm not worried about the tails. Tunisian 10-stitch blankets, you can use just a regular crochet hook. You don't necessarily need a longer one, because at the most you're only going to have 10 loops on your hook at the same time. Hook size doesn't matter. I do recommend using a larger hook over a smaller hook, because it tends to make it where it doesn't curl as bad. I've used an H hook, an I hook, and what I have today is a J hook. This is just a normal regular crochet hook, size J. And this is assuming that you already know how to do the simple Tunisian stitch. That's all that is used in this pattern, is a simple Tunisian. You're going to start with your loop and you're going to chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10. I have 10 chain stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Normally with Tunisian crochet you go in the back bumps behind the chain stitches. In this pattern that is not important, because we're going to go around, round and round and round to make a square. So I just pick up the single loop, keeping my loop on the hook all the way across. And another thing with Tunisian crochet, it's better if you crochet loosely. I have found that when I crochet, or do my best anyway, to crochet loosely, that it tends to make the pattern overall better. It's not as curly and everything. Okay, we should have 10 loops total on our hook. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, return pass, same as regular Tunisian crochet. We're going to pull through 1, and then the rest of the way back we're going to pull through 2. Now you can probably make this any size you want, but the ones that I have been working on, it's 10 stitches wide, and my first piece here I go up 10 rows. So here we've got our first row of our 10 stitch blanket. We're going to continue the simple Tunisian until we have a total of 10 rows. Let's go one more row here, going through the vertical loops. Nothing fancy, just a simple Tunisian crochet. And when I get to the end here, I go through the 2 where it looks like there's a chain there and pull through. So with this pattern, like I said, it's not really going to matter because we're going to be going around. So return stitch, all the way across. Okay, now we have 2 rows. 1, 2. Go ahead and continue this on until you have a total of 10 rows. 10 rows of vertical bars. And when you get those done, we will start on our first corner. Okay, now I have my 10 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now if you notice, I came to the end of my green where I've tied on. Somehow, every time I do this, it's able to work out good where the knot is actually in the back. I don't know how that works out, but it just does for me. But anyway, it changed in the middle, which is fine because this is going to be a pretty rainbow blanket. Now, since I have my 10 rows, this next row is where I'm going to start my decrease for my first corner. So we're going to go across as usual. In each row, you will have one less on your hook, one less loop on your hook. 2, 3. Okay, now we should have a total of 10 loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, since we're doing a decrease, instead of just pulling through the one loop, we're going to pull through 2. So yarn over and pull through 2 all the way back. Oops. See how it starts to go in? We're starting our corner so that we can turn and go back the other direction. So this row, we're only going to have 9 loops on our hook. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Sorry about going off the screen. My yarn keeps tangling up. So I got 9 loops. Just like the previous row, we're going to go through 2 all the way back. So 2, 2, 2. Okay, just like that. See how it's starting to get smaller? Continue on. This time we will have, was it 7? I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8. So there's 10, 9, or 10, I don't know. Anyway, one less loop every time you go across until you just have one loop on your hook. 2, 3, 4, 5, oops, 6, there we got 7. See, I was a row ahead of myself. Pull through 2 all the way across for our decrease. And every time I've done this, this first corner for me has been the trickiest. I don't know why, but it has been. So once you get the first 2 corners, the rest of it is a piece of cake, in my opinion, because it's the first 2 corners you've got to do the corner, and then you've got to do the corner right again, instead of doing the corner and then crocheting a little bit and then doing another corner. It's corner, corner, and then you got a straight piece for a little bit before you have to do a corner again. And the bigger your blanket gets, the longer you have in between corners, obviously. Uh-oh, my yarn just fell. I'm getting ready to change colors again. Like I said, this is a Stash Buster project. I don't mind the color changes. I think it makes it interesting. And this is cotton. I like cotton better than acrylic, but I have more acrylic yarn than I have cotton yarn. So that's why I have 2 acrylic blankets already started. Uh-oh. So I'm down to 3 loops. So that means we're getting close to the end of our corner. Here we've just got 1 vertical loop left. pull through that, and pull through. See here, I got an end again, and I'm not going to pull that all the way through because this loop's going to be enough, so therefore that will stay on the back. Now here's what we have. See how it gets smaller? Once we get to the end of the corner, what we're going to do is we're going to chain 2. Chain 2. We're going to go, let's see, back into this first vertical loop, or vertical stitch, pull up, and then I've seen patterns where they just go through the one loop, which those are the ones that they little holes all the way down. I prefer to go through both loops. It's just a preference. You can do yours however you would like, but both loops of that pull through 2 like that, and we're going to pull through 2 and pull through 2. Our next stitch, we're going to go through the vertical loop here, pull through, we're going to go through our stitch here, and once again I like to go through the 2 and pull through, and then we're going to come down here just below this next vertical bar. Will actually be vertical, but at this point it's horizontal, and go into the next loop like that, pull through. So we're starting our next row right there. So we're going to pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, go through the vertical, through the vertical. We're going to go through the loop that we made the last time on our end, and pull up 1, and then just past the vertical bar again, we're going to go through those 2 loops. I think I got that a little tight. Once again, we're going to pull through 2 all the way. And the reason you're pulling through 2 is you're not having to make an end, like a smooth edge. We're actually increasing at this point because we just got done decreasing. So you can see that our rows, how they match up. So continue on, pull through your obvious vertical loops. You get to the last one, we're going to go through the last stitch of the last row, which makes a vertical loop for this row, and then we're going to go through the 2 stitches on the next row, just like that. See how our corner is starting to take shape there? It's looking good. And we're going to continue this on until we get to our last stitch. We should have, on the last row, before we pull through any, we should have a total of 10 loops on our hook. Go through there, come up here and go through the next horizontal one. The loops, not the vertical stitch, single stitch, but the 2 loops that look like a chain. My yarn fell off my table. That's okay, it can roll around. There, and pull through, just like we've done in the past. Okay, one more row, and this will be our 10 stitches, and this is the top part of our corner on this side. So this time, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're going to go right here into this loop. Like I said, this first corner is a little different than the rest of them because you've got basically 3, they're not exactly triangles, but 3 triangles in a row. Okay, just like before, we're going to pull through 2 all the way back. We're going to try to pull through 2 all the way back. And I've seen different ways of people doing this. Like I said, this one is just scrap yarn put together. I've seen several of them that are done this way. I've also seen blankets where they used a color for each section that they did, kind of like what I'm doing, but it was a designated color and they did a pattern. I've seen some pictures of blankets where they, you know, each, like the middle was one color, or the middle section was one color, and then when they went to the next section of the square, it was another color all the way around. It's just however you choose to do the blanket, but and the ones that I've done, I've been using scrap yarn, and I think they turn out very unique. There's no exact pattern to them, and I think they look cool. Alright, now we're going to start our next corner already. I should have 9 loops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, because we have nothing over here to go into. In the last row we had our 10. So we've got 9. Looks like I'm getting ready to change back to green, and I've got a knot. Do y'all get knots in your yarn like this? See, since there's a knot there, I'm just gonna pull it to where it stops at the back. I'm not gonna worry about pulling it all the way through because it's not gonna matter in my case, because I'm not real worried about the knots on the back. Something that I could do if I do want to, you know, give this as a gift or decide that I don't like the looks of the knots on the back, you can always get some material and sew around it and put it on the back like a backing. Okay, and we'll continue on. This time we're only going to have 8, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, pull through 2, continue on going through the vertical loops, and when we get back to our last one, like we did here on this corner, we will do our other corner to go back around. Alright, one more stitch left on this part of the corner. Just like before, pull through 2, and then we're going to chain 2, just like we did in our other corner over here. Pretty much the same thing. Going to go through this vertical stitch here, and we're going to go through that chain stitch right behind it from where we pulled through. We're going to pull through 2, pull through 2. Next row, go through the vertical, go through that chain right behind it from where we pulled through 2, and then we're going to go to the chain where we pulled through 2 just past the next vertical bar, which it's vertical if you would have it going this way, but since we're going back the other way, it's actually horizontal at this point, I guess. So just like we did on the last 2 corners that we did. And I will see you back here at the other end.